Hello, my name is Devin Jones, and welcome to this edition of the Sparx Tribune Report. You can find me on Twitter. I will link to my Twitter account in the description box below, and find me online at Sparx Tribune. That's Sparx, spell Sparx with an X, Tribune, all one word, sparxtribune.org. And today I would like to talk about Wells Fargo. The CEO of Wells Fargo, Tim Sloan, was grilled by Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on his bank's participation in the funding of detention centers in the middle of March. Just as a reminder, this same bank, Wells Fargo, has been duly criticized and protested against for its funding of the Dakota Access Pipeline, which was in violation of 2 U.S. treaties, and subsequently built its pipeline through the drinking water of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. This same bank, Wells Fargo, was caught charging students inordinately high interest rates, sometimes several times larger than their competitors, as was revealed by a report obtained and published by Politico and formerly concealed by the Trump administration. This same bank, Wells Fargo, the bank that was embroiled in a scandal involving thousands of false bank accounts and was subsequently fined $185 for doing so, has announced via a press release that has been listed as the most transparent on, and I quote, environmental, social, and governance metrics. Environmental, social, and governance metrics. By those three metrics, environmental, social, and governance. Environmental metrics like building pipelines that are shown to be destroying the planet has already leaked multiple times, was in violation of U.S. treaties protecting that land and reserving for the Native American Sioux, the Standing Rock Sioux tribe. That's by an environmental metric. That was social metrics like charging students inordinately high interest rates and making profits off of the suffering of people who are already going to be in debt, over their head in debt. But you're going to make another dollar profiting off of the inordinately high, sometimes, again, like I said, several times higher than their competitors, and then conceal the report. So they're bragging transparency specifically, and I just wanted to say that they're not bragging that they have been environmentally friendly. They're saying that they have been transparent about the fact that they're destroying the planet. They're not saying that they have been a socially friendly organization. It does not say that in their press release, which I will read in a moment. It says that they have been transparent, which in that particular case would be a lie because, again, they concealed the report and it was obtained via a Freedom of Information request from Politico. You can go to Politico's website and read about that. And by governance metrics, like the CEO of your company, of Wells Fargo, firing the employees who created thousands of false accounts rather than the CEOs who encouraged those false accounts and instituted those policies, etc. They face nothing, but the employees, the worker, gets screwed and gets scapegoated. By any of these three metrics, it is a preposterous claim. Their press release published today, which was May the 13th, Wells Fargo among most transparent on environmental, social, and governance metrics. It says, in a study commissioned by Financial Times Agenda, that's not the actual name of the report, it's called Agenda, and it happens to be owned by the Financial Times. Ratings firm HIP Investor rated Wells Fargo among the most transparent companies on environmental, social, and governance, or ESG, metrics. A summary of the study appeared in the publication's April the 8th edition. I found the report, and Agenda, like I said, owned by the Financial Times, published a report, which I am going to now. And it published a list of the top 10 and and the bottom 10 most and least transparent organizations by those metrics. And Wells Fargo, which barely made the list, was given, whatever this means, an 11% ESG transparency gap. What does an 11% ESG transparency gap mean? Well, no, those metrics were not exactly described, nor was the type of, and to even view this article, you have to sign up. I had to sign up for an account on Agenda, agendaweek.com. I had to sign up for an account just to even view this thing. But whatever 11% transparency gap means, does that mean that they're only lying 11% of the time? And some, by the way, for context, some of the organizations given the worst metrics range from 59% to 63% transparency gap. Again, these figures are not explained, and these corporations and these entities are taken from various industries also listed in this report that was published by Agenda. But even the fact that they made this is astonishing. But they barely squeaked by on the report, or on to make this list of top 10 most transparent agencies. They barely made the list with whatever 11% transparency gap means by ESG metrics. And there's even this caveat explained in the report. It says, and I quote, "The rankings don't mean that transparent companies, for instance, are engaging in better ESG behavior than other companies. ESG behavior, environmental, social, and governance, etc. In other words, they're not saying these companies are environmentally friendly, or socially egalitarian or economically governed or anything like that. It's just a transparent. It's poor metrics, first of all. And Wells Fargo published a report bragging about it in their press release. At any rate, the top was Baxter. With regard to pharmaceuticals, Merck and Company. Now, I don't know who published this report, but it would seem to be an awfully skewed report. Wells Fargo, one of the most infamous banks, one of the most infamous for fraud and in the news lately. Like, how are you going to be in the news for all of these different issues, multiple issues? I just named them, and then even make a list like that. It's absurd. You're gonna build pipelines through Native Americans' drinking water, screw students, make billions of dollars falsifying accounts and falsifying reports. I mean, and that's aside from political corruption. Bringing up the fact that Wells Fargo donates to political campaigns and etc. Like just plain corruption. Bullshit report. Bullshit report. Wells Fargo, one of the most dishonest institutions in the banking industry, the most transparent. Well, they screw the planet and screw you, and then screw the worst. The worst company, Wells Fargo. Congratulations, Wells Fargo, on being the most of anything at all. Good job, Wells Fargo.